Judge Judy. Children do you have, Ms. Busse? Sheelin. Busse. 2. Judge Judy. How old are they? 12 and... Sheelin Busse. 12 and I have a 9-month-old. Judge Judy. And who's the father of the 9-month-old? Sheelin Busse. It's a friend of mine. Judge Judy. Is that this gentleman? Sheelin Busse. No. Judge Judy. Who is this gentleman? Sheelin Busse. This is my boyfriend. Judge Judy. So your boyfriend is not the father of the 9-month-old? Sheelin Busse. No, he is not. Judge Judy. Did the boy always live with his mother? Sheelin Busse. Yes, he did. Up till recently, yes. Judge Judy. Up until when? Matthew McGlynn. Up until November is when she moved out of her house. Judge Judy. You were living with your son at whose house? Sheelin Busse. It was my friend that is the father of my 9-month-old and his now ex-wife. Judge Judy. So you were living with a couple who were friends? Sheelin Busse. Yes, I was friends with him. Judge Judy. And then you moved in with he and his wife? Sheelin Busse. Yes. Judge Judy. And how long did you live there? Sheelin Busse. I lived there, it was about 1.5 years. Judge Judy. And I assume you left there because you were pregnant? Sheelin Busse. No, I left there because I started getting threatening emails that were threatening my life. Judge Judy. From his wife? Sheelin Busse. We don't know who they were from. They were anonymous emails. Judge Judy. But you would assume they were from his wife? Sheelin Busse. Yeah, I'd assume, but there's been no proof. Judge Judy. Okay, so you moved out. Where did you go? Sheelin Busse. I moved in with my boyfriend, Matthew McGlynn. He was not her boyfriend at the time. Judge Judy. If you're going to shout, you're going to leave. Do you understand? Sheelin Busse. Yes. Judge Judy. And you moved in with the boyfriend? Sheelin Busse. Yes, and his wife. Judge Judy. Now you can put her out. Sheelin. Busse. I'm sorry. Judge Judy, you moved in with your boyfriend? Sheelin Busse. Correct. Judge Judy. How far away did he live from where you had been living? Sheelin Busse. Quite a ways. I moved from Council Bluffs, Iowa to West Omaha. Judge Judy. Your son is 12 years old? Sheelin Busse. Yes. Judge Judy. What did you do about his school? Sheelin Busse. We still transported him to his school. Judge Judy. Is what you're telling me you moved with your son to your boyfriend's house? Sheelin Busse. Yes. Judge Judy. And you took your son with you and transported him to and from school? Sheelin Busse. Yes, that is correct. Matthew McGlynn. To the point, I have no idea. I mean, it was a 10-day time, and I wanted him to come live with me. Matthew McGlynn. She sent him to live with some other friends of hers. Chelsea, one of her friends. Judge Judy. Is that when she moved out of the house? Sheelin Busse. Besides the little time that Austin did stay with her, yes, she was moving him around from my sister-in-law's to me sometimes to her friend Chelsea. Judge Judy. Why? Sheelin Busse. Because I was getting these threatening emails that were threatening my life, and I was trying to protect my son from being around that. Judge Judy. Okay, well, that's a very good idea then. He should go and live with his father. Matthew McGlynn. Your Honor. Judge Judy. Shh. Just a second. Judge Judy, this case is all about an overpayment of child support. He came to live with his father on what date? Sheelin Busse. It was November 18th. Judge Judy. And is he still there? Sheelin Busse. Yes, he is still there. Judge Judy. And did you receive any child support from Mr. McGlynn after November 18th? Sheelin Busse. Yes, I did. Judge Judy. How much? Sheelin Busse. I received it weekly from that following week until now. Judge Judy. Did you finally stop the order? Sheelin Busse. I did. It took some time, though. Judge Judy. How many weeks did you pay when your son was with you? December and January. That's 8 weeks, plus 2 weeks in November. That's 10 weeks, okay? Why do you think you're entitled to that money? You were never married, right? Sheelin Busse. No, we were not. Judge Judy. Okay, so this is just child support that he pays? Sheilyn Bussey, that is correct. Judge Judy, well, why do you think you're entitled to this money? Sheilyn Bussey, the whole reason that he went with his father was I was getting these threatening emails. Judge Judy, I heard about the threatening emails, and that's a very good idea because if you were living with a couple that were friends of yours and you got pregnant by the husband and had to move out, I would say that you should do everything possible to protect your 12-year-old. And then moving out, evidently you had a boyfriend at the same time. Now you're with the boyfriend. Doesn't sound very stable to me talking about why you think you're entitled to $75 a week child support when the child was living with his father. Sheilyn Bussey, well, he had time to get it shut off, and it wasn't until just recently that he went ahead and did that. Judge Judy, the government works very, very slowly. Look at Congress, and the lower you get, the slower they work. So if you say, boys with me, could you stop the payments? Sure, eventually they get stopped because it comes right out of your check, I assume. Sheilyn Bussey. Comes right out of my check every week. Judge Judy, $710.50. Judgment for the plaintiff.